guys, Steve Girardi here. Welcome back to Steve's Strings. I've got something special for you today. This is a review of a ukulele which I recently bought. This is a caramel ebony tenor scale ukulele, and it is Acoustic-Electric. I picked this up recently off of eBay. It was advertised on Caramel as a factory defect. And the defect was this very, very small defect. There was an issue here I'll try to zoom this in here for you. It was this little wee issue right here on the fretboard. Not sure how well you can see that. I'll try to put some pictures up for you. But that was the only defect. And I think these were usually sold at $69, and so it was $59 because of the defect, which is really minor. But let me go ahead and give you a quick overview of this. Again, this is made by Caramel. It is a tenor scale, and it has this ebony veneer on the headstock. It has what looks like to be a walnut fretboard, and it has this beautiful striped ebony. I didn't know ebony was anything other than black, so it was really pretty. Of course, it has these pins here to hold the strings in, and it has this interesting little, looks like a little koi fish kind of a shape to it, kind of reminiscent of an Ovation guitar. And again, it's got this nice sort of binding and purfling on it, which is really pretty. And again, this is an Acoustic-Electric with a nice stripe going down the sides. All right. And I should say that this is not a solid ebony, it is an ebony laminate. And it has some nice position markers in the side here, which is nice to view, as well as on the fretboard. All right. And you may have noticed here that there is a truss rod cover, because this tenor ukulele has a truss rod in it, which was kind of surprising for such a short-scaled instrument. But I'll try to give you a little bit of an overview of this and a little bit of a review and tell you what I think of it. First thing is, when I saw this the picture of this online, I thought, that is really pretty. It's prettier. I mean, I have a spruce top ukulele, which I really like. It has a beautiful sound to it, but spruce is kind of plain to look at. And I do have a Macala laminate mahogany, and it's kind of nice, but I mean, not a lot of character in the grain. But this had a lot of character in the grain in both the front and the back of it. And I thought, you know, for 59 bucks, I need to give that a try. And I was crossing my fingers, hoping that it would sound good. And again, this the binding on it, I also thought was really, really pretty, and I wanted to just kind of check that out. So let me give you an overview. Again, the headstock here is that veneer, and the Caramel logo is looks like it's laser etched into there. It's not inlaid; it's just lasered in. So it's very subtle. It's not kind of in your face, which I kind of like about that. The nut here, it looks like it's bone. I'll double check that, and I might see if I can put that in the comments down below. But when I looked this over, looking at the finish, again, other than that identified flaw, I have found that there was like no finish imperfections anywhere else on this instrument. I mean, it is just put together almost seamlessly. You can see here on the end here again, those the stripe on the wood lines up very nicely. That seam is barely imperceptible there. Overall, I cannot find anything wrong with this other than that one flaw, which was identified. The one thing I kind of don't like about the finish on this is actually this shape. Well, this shape here of this little koi or whatever it is, I find it very interesting. But it's actually not inlaid into the top. So this surface is not flush. This little wood is lying proud to the surface of the ukulele. And I guess I wasn't really expecting that. Does it really affect it adversely? I don't really think it does, but I can't be certain of that. But overall, I just love the way this thing looks. Just moving around here, you may hear this. That's something else I wasn't too keen on. That obviously is the wiring for this this pickup that's in here. Again, it is Acoustic-Electric. I wasn't planning on plugging it in today, but I may do that. We'll see. But I will play it for you here a little bit so you can see what the sound looks like. First of all, I'll come a little closer so you can hear it well. So the one thing I did notice when I got this, when I'm playing this, compared to my spruce top ukulele, this is quieter when it's being played acoustically. It's not really quiet, but it is quieter than my spruce top was. So that's not necessarily a flaw or anything. It's just not something I knew until I got it. That's the thing about buying things online. You don't know what they sound like until they get there. I'll go ahead and play this a little bit so you get to see kind of what it sounds like. Well, for those of you who are real players, I apologize for that. That was a sound sample. Obviously, I'm still learning how to play this. But overall, I could say that this was a pretty good value for $59 with that little minuscule defect there. I was very, very happy with it. When this came, it came really well packaged. I'll try to put some pictures in for you. It was a typical cardboard box, but it had styrofoam between the ukulele and the cardboard box, which I was really glad for because sometimes boxes can get beat up in shipping. I'll see if I can put some batteries in here and give you a sound sample of this. Okay guys, so I've put some batteries in this ukulele now, and you can see I now have the tuner turned on, or the what do you call it, the EQ, whatever, turned on. It actually has a built-in tuner, which is kind of nice for when you don't have one. My tuner is actually downstairs, so it's kind of nice to get that tuned up. And right now I have the volume on this, and I should say that the knobs for this, it's got a bass, a middle, a treble, and it has a volume on it. I have the volume tuned all the way up here on the ukulele, and I have it set on about setting 6 on my amp. I just have a little Squire SP10, a little cheap one here that I'm playing with. And I just sort of have these, all the settings, the bass, the middle, and the treble, just kind of tuned kind of straight. And you can see that tuned kind of straight up, all right? So. Let me tune this up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little louder there. Well, let me go ahead and give you a sound sample here of this, again, just with this, I have the treble set for 2, and the bass is set on 5 here on my little Squire amp. And again, they're just sort of set in the middle range here. I'll just go through a little chord progression so you see what it sounds like with the, or through the amplifier. I was a little surprised to see that I had to have the volume tuned essentially all the way up on the ukulele, and then I have to have it up here on setting like 6 or 7 to actually get some projection out of it that's any louder than just the ukulele would be. So I'm not sure if it has something to do with the piezo in here, or maybe it's just my amplifier. I don't know. But ultimately, it does have a nice sound. Let me go ahead and bring the treble up, the mids and the bass all the way up, and see what that does for us here. That really wakes it up. Now I should say that I'm new to using amplifiers, and so I need to play around with this for a while to figure out what kind of the best setting is. I just tune these back a little bit. Anyway, so if you guys are out there used to using amplifiers with ukuleles, I'd be happy to hear some of your comments about it on how best to set these, the treble and the mid, the bass. I'm not used to trying to tweak the sound as opposed to the natural sound of the instrument. So I'd like to hear from you on that. Ultimately, this is a nice ukulele with no real finish problems other than the one that the company identified. It does sound nice, if a little bit quiet compared to my spruce top. It is pretty warm though. Let me go ahead and turn the amp off here. Again, so you can hear it just by itself. So I would describe it as a warmer tone, more akin to, say, my my laminate mahoganies that I have. Sustain is okay. It's not, goes on forever, but it's decent sustain. But certainly it's really pretty. So if you're thinking about getting an Ebony ukulele, or you want to get a not overly expensive tenor ukulele, Caramel is one to look at, because this is, it's a nice little build. And for 59 bucks with the defect, and even 69 bucks without the defect, it's worth checking out. So I'd like to hear your comments. What do you think about it? If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more reviews and more of the builds that I make of my cigar box guitars and ukuleles, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.